All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another stream. We're out of Artificer story percent finally. Well, I'll talk about that later. But actually, I feel very motivated about speedruns. This is this category right here I will be attempting is Rivulet Pilgrimage percent. So getting the Ascension ending by visiting Echoes. I mean, that's pretty much the only option. I actually have like a bunch of different runs planned for the future, so I'm now a speedrun channel, and that's it. I don't know if I think of any like interesting ideas. Of course, I'll do streams about those, but I think it's mostly about the speedruns for a while. And actually, it'll be like a diverse set of characters. So, hello everyone, welcome. Yes, so I'm gonna get started. By the way, these are practice runs. Well, are they practice runs? Actually, I don't really know. I'm just kind of just doing the run. So I do kind of need to remember the route. The beginning of Rivulet is a little bit slow. That was the really good thing about well, good and bad thing about Artificer. Resetting runs was very fast, but then actually getting past garbage waste took a lot of attempts, so it wasn't actually that fast. Rivulet still has a similar problem where the beginning is a little bit annoying, but not nearly as annoying. But there is the karma caching at the beginning. I also have actual in-game music on, which I haven't had in a while. Since it's not just gonna be Stoneheads for like 10 hours. That's an exaggeration. For like 2 hours. I'm fine with having in-game music. So yeah, unfortunately compared to Artificer, the beginning of the run is actually a little, well, I don't know. I guess you can decide which one is more boring, like karma catching and doing nothing, or repeatedly dying to vultures. I'm thinking this whole time, like, surely Rivulet can't be as bad as Artificer, right? Surely that, like, I feel like every run is just gonna be easy now. That's definitely not true. Some categories are still very difficult in RNG, and even if it's the RNG, most runs are longer than Artificer story percent, so yeah, just more opportunities to make mistakes that aren't RNG. This is actually still a very short category. I think it is around 20 minutes actually. I'll have to see what it looks like when I get like a full run. I guess like when I finish the final run of this category, but I think I'll get an idea of how long it will be from practice runs. It's so quiet now. It's that music. But actually, I really like this route throughout of this run. It's very unique. Well, I've yet to do runs with creatures. Why am I karma caching? I forgot to turn off karma requirements. But also, technically, I have all the rules or all the settings that are allowed in a real speedrun. So if I just finish a run, I can just submit it. We'll see. Maybe I make it to the end. But I really just wanted to see how the run is with creatures. That's the main thing I'm thinking about. Because I've done this route a bunch, well, actually only a handful of times. Without creatures. So this is the first problem. Here's the second problem. Snails and scavengers are real annoying in this area. Maybe I should do some runs without creatures just to get familiar with the movement again, because it's been a while since I've even played Rivulet at all. If you want a reminder on what this route is, I'm heading now up to a shelter in Chimney Canopy. From that shelter, I will go down to Shaded, where I can activate the Echo, starve, get the Echo, and I'll be sent back up the Chimney. Then I'll go up to the top of Chimney and get the Wall Echo, the Chimney Echo, and then end in the Sky Islands Echo, where I will then passage back to Drainage System. And then in Drainage System, I will just head down to Subterranean. Is this a large centipede? No, it isn't. I think there are large centipedes in this room. Might be a slight problem. But there's quite a lot of different paths to take in this room, so there's like alternate routes you want to avoid. Oh man, there's a spider, a centipede, and a snail in this room. So here's where the plinks start, which are actually a lot easier than the other plinks. Okay, just kidding. They're still hard. Plinks are still plinks. Man, okay, apparently they are still a problem. I was more consistent at these in the practice runs I just did recently. Hello, welcome to the stream. Oh my god. That's a whole plant up there, I can't even come to it. I need to get good at this plink because it's definitely worth it. There we go. That was kind of a weird way to do it. This plink is comparatively easy. Just kidding. I think I was holding up there, so I should have grabbed the pole, but maybe I was just moving too fast. This is, once you get better at this plink, it like saves so much time. Because this room is really big. Getting to skip all the way to the top of it is very good. Although climbing up here is a little bit annoying. Maybe there's some like wall pounds you can do. Oh, I'm just dead. Like actually. Well, actually I shouldn't reset. I'll just karma cache and retry that. Yeah, I think I tried to pick up the spear again and throw it again, but I couldn't pick it up for some reason. That Karma Lizard might be a problem, but other than that, there weren't really any creatures. I guess there were some scavengers that were kind of annoying. What are the inputs for the water thing? The plink. You just want to jump into water from a decent height. And honestly, I have no idea. There's probably some way to do it that's most consistent, but I have not found that way. But what I do, personally, I just press down just before you touch the water, and then spam jump when you do touch the water. And it sometimes works. Maybe there's a better way. Like if you can try to like time it, but I don't know when the timing is exactly. That guy was mad at me. I'm actually running Rivulet. Which is nice. Ow. It's really just completely random whether those scavengers will want to kill you or not. Just kind of push them out of the way and hope for the best. And that was actually just a wall at snail. That's fun. So these kind of creatures are just like a little bit annoying. They usually don't end the run. Well, some of the scavengers do. But usually it's not really worth caring about it too much. For Rivulet story percents, I don't think the Plink is worth it. It saves a lot of time, but if you're not going for a crazy good run, you don't need that amount of time saved. And the difficulty of getting it consistently, I think kind of balances it out, you know? If you somehow manage to get it consistent, then of course it's worth doing, but I have not gotten to that point. Maybe I'll get better at plinking from doing this run, because I think that in Pilgrimage percent, which is this category, plinking is significantly better. There's 2 rooms you can do it back to back, and most of those rooms are very hard to climb up vertically. It's like how else would you climb horizontally? I would thank you for that. Oh my gosh, this spider. Dude. I think a backflip here is the easiest way to enter that. Centipede? Oh, centipede. Oh, actually just kind of find my way around that. Okay, attempt 2 of Plank. I like that. What I did there, I just pressed jump to release myself in the pool, and that actually lines you up perfectly. And there we go. That's like how good that is. Like that's like several screens you just totally skip. Now is to see if the Carmel is still here. They might be a pretty consistent spawn actually. Like, yeah, here they are. But they're kind of stupid sometimes. Wow, that's a very fast orange lizard. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to death. I almost actually got to the shelter. Usually orange lizards are actually kind of stupid. Compared to pink lizards, at least, they're very bad at grabbing you quickly. But that one was different. This one not qualify? No. I think this is not nearly gonna be as bad. I mean, considering the deaths so far, I'm not really helping that argument, but one thing that really helped this run is that I can actually throw spears. Kind of crazy idea, I know. But for Artificer, for at least a big chunk of the first half of the run, well, just a big chunk of the run in general, you're carrying around a scab body, and this prevents you from throwing rocks and spears. Well, specifically, a scab body and a mask. Of course, you don't need the mask, but I think it makes a big difference. So just the fact that you can throw a rock at a creature to push it out of the way, that like helps so much. Oh, really? Usually these snails don't do this. And that lizard, I mean, that was like a stupid decision on my part to just run into it. But usually they don't bite you that fast, so I thought I could have stuck into the pipe real quick. Pilgrimage does include ascending. That is how you end the run. So you collect 4 echoes to get up to max karma, and then you go to the Void Sea. I actually think that well, we will see if this run is better or worse than 40% for Riv. But I think that this has a good chance of being actually a lot better. Oh. You know... Oops, don't reset. That's a habit from Artificer. Resetting every death. Well, I will still have to do that when I stop doing practice runs. What arena should you practice wall bounces on? Really, it does not matter at all. Like, if there is a wall, you can practice wall bounces. I think for the most part, I just did like runs. I just did runs and found places to use wall pounces. That's kind of how I practiced it. So there's a mod to keep that away from me that just removes creatures. Well, you can actually pick which creatures you want to remove. So you can just remove the hostile ones if you want. And then with that mod, just do runs of like Survivor or not Artificer. Please don't. Like Survivor or Rivulet speedruns, and just like find places to do wall pounces. And even if it takes you several attempts, eventually you'll get better at it. Just specifically, a handful of rooms, like if you know the room where it's like it has a shelter in it, and it's right below the gates from Industrial to Chimney. There's like the little like tube thing that the shelter is in. You can't climb up that. You can't do like wall jumps, like the walls are too far apart, but you can do wall pounces. And there's a few other rooms like that in Industrial. And just find places like that, wall pounce up them. That's actually like a somewhat practical strategy in some parts of the world. For Rivulet, literally just do this. If you are in a gate, just like do this every once in a while. And the way I did it actually was doing runs, or actually just go into Rivulet, turn off creatures with that mod and have depth tools on, and just like repeat one room over and over again, and try to do wall pounces. Like this room, for example, I could do that for this. So just spend like a whole cycle here just doing this over and over again until you get it consistent, which apparently I have not, so maybe I need to do that. I don't even know if this is the best way to do this room, but it works. If you do it correctly, it works. Problem is that there's this little thing in the wall right there, and if you get stuck in that, then you don't get a wall pounce. Probably the most annoying part about wall pounces is it depends on the environment. So some walls just don't let you do wall pounces because of if holes are on the sides of the walls, or if there's like the walls are like spaced differently. That was the weakest blink I've ever done. That might have just been me jumping out of the water normally, though. Okay, it didn't go all the way. I guess it's better than slamming my head against the wall and giving Riven brain damage. I think that might be the best way to do this room. Do that, backflip. That tournament? I don't think it was the tournament. I think that was the Artificer runs. Besides, just doing that Artificer run was like a goal that I had for a long time, and actually being able to do it, I'm like, now I can do any run, you know. Please move out of the way. I kind of wish you'd moved into this room more than into this room. Right now I have to deal with you again. Also, did anyone watch the tournament? Oh shoot. Okay, hold up. Food might be a problem. I just ate food like normal, but it might actually... I need to route around that in the future. Oh, the water, that's literally just called a water bounce. I don't really know how to do it consistently. There's ways you can do it consistent in specific locations. Like you could like pounce from a certain ledge and throw boost, and then you'll like get a water hop consistently, or a water bounce. Actually, I don't know which one it is. Compare more than 2 minutes. There were parts of the tournament that I enjoyed a lot more. Or can you watch the tournament on the Rain World Speedrunning Twitch channel or Iced's Twitch channel? You can honestly just go to Twitch and search up Rain World, and you will find that the most viewed videos will be from that tournament. But yeah, the quality of the tournament kind of like went all over the place. At least my experience with it. It is very random. It's not a tournament in the sense of actually determining players' skill. Maybe player skill when it comes to managing complete chaos, which I'm not the best at. Sometimes it was really fun, like when there weren't too many creature spawns. There's actually like a reasonable amount of creature spawns. You could actually like do things, and if they weren't messing with your movement. If you don't know what the tournament was, basically there was Twitch integration, so members of the chat could use channel points to influence the game. And things like spawning in creatures, turning off gravity, changing the Slughat stats, blowing up creatures, spawning random items. You can see how that can get chaotic. My main problem was spawning red lizards. That was a redeem. So obviously, if several people decide to spawn in red lizards, you are basically just dead. Like, good luck dealing with that. Especially if you are a character like Gourmand or Survivor. Man, if you saw me try to do the double jump input there. So if too many people spend points on red lizard redeems, then you are basically just done for. I hope that you get lucky and they spawn not from the pipe that you are standing next to. Because that happened quite often, where a red lizard would spawn and you would just die instantly because they can grab you on frame 1. Or maybe frame 2. I don't know if it's like every frame. But yeah, sometimes red lizards would spawn so quickly that you cannot even react to it and they just kill you instantly. Or they would spawn in a random creature and they would randomly roll a red lizard or a fan lizard or a red centipede, just anything that can kill you quickly. The next most annoying thing was changing the player stats. So that might be something like making you significantly slower or jumping not nearly as high. Oh, that was a red spider. One of my least favorite ones was the bounty status effect, which basically makes you jump at every frame possible. So you're basically constantly jumping. If you touch a wall, you wall jump off of it. If you touch a pole, you jump off of it. If you touch the ground, you jump, of course. And it basically prevents you from doing anything. So you just like bounce off of everything. It's very hard to control. Turning off gravity was a big one. As Artificer, it's really nice because you can actually control your movements in 0G. But every other character, it just is stuck in the air if it's 0 gravity. There were some redeems for teleporting between rooms. So sometimes you would spend like a whole 2 minutes trying to make it across. Okay, I'm very distracted right now. You can't tell. You spend 2 minutes trying to make it across a room that's just completely filled with creatures and chaos. And you finally... Okay, that pole is the secrets of this room. Oops. And then you would, someone would spend points on a redeem, which would just teleport you back to the start of the room, or teleport you back to the previous room entirely. It's like, well, there goes all my progress, you know? And if too many people spend points on teleport and change room redeems, then you just can't get anywhere, because you're just getting teleported around all over the place. Constant jumping as Gourmand, it's literally, where does that? If you get constant jumping as Gourmand, you cannot do anything. You are permanently out of stamina. And you move very slowly. It's just horrible. This cycle right here is why I want there to be the like no cycle randomness, because this is a very close cycle, even with the longest possible cycle. That would make the run consistent. So the tournament was like total chaos. Sometimes it was fun, sometimes it was just kind of awful, because the game would just kind of be unplayable. I didn't even watch the final rounds, because the longer the tournament went on, the more people were watching and spending points. And so there were more and more redeems that kept messing with the game in horrible ways. Also, I mentioned that the tournament was happening on 2 different Twitch channels, the Randall Speedrunning Twitch channel and Ice's channel. If you don't know, Ice is another live streamer, plays Randall and some other games. And since they are an actual live streamer, people watch them and get channel points just for watching and spending time on the channel, you know? Whereas the Randall Speedrunning channel is mostly for a handful of special events that only happen every few months. So people don't have nearly as many channel points on, or at least I didn't. I didn't have that many channel points. But I imagine that if you, for example, watch Iced, and you are like a regular, you know, you might have like tens of thousands of channel points. And since your channel points get reset every round, you could like totally spam red lizards or other random creatures or like whatever you want, really. You pretty much have complete control over the tournament just because you have a lot of points built up that reset every round. So there's a little bit of a gamble on which channel you would run on. That would determine how chaotic the actual round was. Or if there's just like one guy with a lot of channel points, you could just spend them all on red lizards. Okay, maybe this was kind of a bad idea. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Mistake. Okay, I was gonna do a wall pounce there, but orange lizard, and I forgot. I would like to participate in an actual like skill-based tournament, but also I feel like the general community, the general Randworld community is just very unbalanced. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but there's gonna be like wildly varying skill levels. So if there was a tournament, you pretty much know who's gonna win from the beginning. And maybe they wanted to add a lot of randomness to the tournaments just so that some like more people have a chance at winning, you know. Like if it was a speedrunning tournament, then like a handful of the best speedrunners would probably win. If it was a score run tournament or something like that, then all the score runners would probably win, you know. Whereas since this like Twitch integration is like so random and chaotic that it's like a party game, you know, anyone has a chance at winning. That's enough about the tournament. Most annoying creature for speedrunning? I know that's kind of an old question. I was like busy talking about that other thing. Mirror's Vulture definitely is one of the options for Saint, especially in Rubicon, where sometimes they will just decide that your run is over. You can't do anything about it. Scavengers are a pretty big one, because in any run, you know, it's hard to predict, you know. Oops, I just slid right into that pipe. You never really know with scavengers, you know, and you can never really put in the amount of time to get good reputation with them. So you usually end up dealing with scavengers who might hate you, you know. If you see a scavenger, what do? Well, do they have a weapon? So you need to see if they can actually kill you. Is there like a spear that they can pick up nearby that you might need to try to get before they can? And do they even want to kill you? Like, they might just completely ignore you, or they might like try to throw a spear from halfway across the room, you know? They're just unpredictable. I think I know what happened there. I think I might have grabbed onto the Bat-Fly exactly when they were going through the pipe. So just like when a centipede grabs you and goes through a pipe, and they drag you through. I think it was it happened like that, but with the Bat-Fly. They dragged me through the pipe. That's very bizarre. So I'm still holding on to them. You know what's nice about this area? There's not going to be any scavengers. King Vultures were a big one in the RD runs. I got better at dodging them as I actually did attempts and such. Like, eventually you can learn how to dodge them better. Whoa, hello, dude. But they still are very challenging. But they can just like, kind of show up out of nowhere and snipe you. And they have like surprisingly good aim. You might assume that you could just like outrun them, but they lead their shots very well. Now, compared to Artie, I don't have a Vulture Mask, so this is actually a little bit harder up until this point, where it's like 10 times easier. I miss doing this movement. Like, it's fun as Artie, but it's also really fun as Riv in a slightly different way. Oops. And actually go see the Sekko after passing him like 20 times. So it's like that part's like kind of easy, kind of hard. Depends on the lizards. Like, they're not impossible to dodge, but you know, you can always mess up. Vulture falling from the sky. I do like this run a lot. I think this was actually like the second speedrun that or the second speedrun category I ever ran. Because first it was Pebble percent, and then I pretty much only did that until Downpour came out, and then it was like, well, Riv is the fast one. And I didn't want to go through the rot, so 100% was the one option I wanted to go for. I didn't know there were scions here. Now, I'm like not as familiar with the spawns of this run because I did a lot of no creature runs before. Another wonderful thing about Riv, you can just do that. You can just say, you know what, I don't want to deal with the scissors, so I'm not going to. I don't know what that was. Oh, hold up. I forgot my routes. You have to go down here. Right. I think I kind of associate Sky Islands more with the old Rivulet route, even though they're exactly the same. Gourmand. Okay, so Gourmand. I want to talk about Gourmand too. Because I want to speedrun Gourmand again. Because there's like new tech that has been that I've personally discovered that is not in the run. And I always feel like that's kind of annoying because people will look at the world record run and be like, but what about this tech that they don't use in the speedrun? Why don't they do that? Even though I know about the tech, I just haven't gotten around to it, you know? So, you know, I would like to add that tech to the run. But Gourmand is a little bit annoying, just kind of in general. They have interesting movement. They're definitely fast in some ways, but I don't think it like just having a lot of options is like one of the most important things for a character's agility. The more options you have, the faster you can do most rooms. Okay. I really don't like this room because it's really it sucks. You can't wall pounce up it because there's like 1,000 poles, but also it looks like it's perfectly meant for wall pouncing, you know? Like you would be able to wall pounce up this room if it weren't for the poles. Oh, you're smart. Almost. There's like some ways to make Gourmand really fast. Dude, please don't. Like in some ways Gourmand could be really fast, and in other ways they are very annoying. The best speedrun for a casual player, I have not seen like any Gourmand speedruns. There's like 2 total. 2 people actually, well, I know one person who has done Gourmand runs but just hasn't hasn't submitted any, or maybe they did the runs before there was like a solid rule set. I think the exhaustion isn't even like that bad. If you get tired, you just like crouch for 2 seconds and you've recovered, right? The main problem is creatures. And if you are exhausted and there are creatures that are chasing you, you basically just lose. Oh, that doesn't work. I'm basically playing Gourmand right now. But I do want to get around to it again. Because that run can be improved a lot. Here's a funny part of the run. If you ever want to speedrun Riv, but you don't want to mess with movement with other characters, just switch between the 2 often. Don't make the mistake I did where I just grounded out Rivulet for like a few weeks. charging up a pounce doesn't use stamina. Does actually doing the pounce use stamina? But surely it would count as a jump, right? Like pretty much every type of jump uses stamina. I'm kind of just surprised that there hasn't been at least one person who really likes Gourmand who also want to do the speedrun. Because there's people who are big fans of Gourmand, right? It's like a common thing. I hear people talking about how amazing Gourmand is and how they're overpowered and everything like that. And they never actually go and do the speedrun. I mean, obviously there's a difference between liking a character and wanting to do a speedrun for that character. But surely at least there'd be one person who has both of those properties, right? Properties. Hold up, this is the wrong one. Someone who likes Gourmand and who wants to do the speedrun. Like, surely there'd be at least one, like, specialist, right? Like, there's at least one person who really likes Spearmaster speedruns, and they have the world record. So why not for Gourmand? I can totally do more swim boots in this room, because there's some air pocket in the middle. I was not even looking. Okay, I'm just not even going to try to do a wall pounce there. It seemed to not really work out. Farmer's Echo? I don't. I get the Shaded Echo, Shaded, Chimney, Wall, and Sky Island's Echo. I think I did determine that those are the best options because I did a whole bunch of testing in earlier streams. Farmer's just never really seemed worth it, even with a completely unique route. And Shaded isn't even really that bad to get. I can't see the walls, so I don't know how to do the wall pounce. I don't know the timing. And I'm stuck. Okay, we're out of there. Goodness. I still like this strategy for filtration the most because it gets out of the way of the lizards. There's a faster way to do it. Change the pilgrimage achievement. one of the trickier movements. Wait, can you do this? Maybe not. It would be really weird. I don't think so. I do wonder why this path is even here in the first place. Because from this direction, it's only accessible by Rivulet. Like, why do you want to go backwards if you're already down here? I managed to pounce directly onto the top of that pole. I don't know how to do that. I thought that strategy would work consistently to like prevent fall damage, but I guess it doesn't. Funny how Riv can just run through this area faster than pretty much any other character. Not even doing movement tech. Okay, maybe that's a bad idea. What I'm doing here is instant slide pounces, if that's even what they're called. Oops, didn't want to do that. It's basically starting a slide pounce, but then doing the actual, or starting a slide and then doing the slide pounce on the very next frame, which is absurdly difficult, but time is slower in the depths, so it's actually, like, it's easier to do down here. Or if you have a mushroom. And it's really fun. If only that tech was actually possible at normal speed. I think some people have done it, but maybe it's something to do with your keyword that actually make it possible, because hitting the same key like twice in 2 frames is like just ridiculous. Nice fall damage there. If you had 2 keys bound to jump, then you could do it actually reasonably. You just need to press the 2 keys almost at the same time, but not quite. It'd actually be like, you could probably get that consistent. But the same key, like having to release and press it again within a frame, it's actually very useful. At least I find it useful. It's like you get the speed of a slide pounce without requiring the distance. Okay, I guess that was a practice run, right? Debating if I want to go for real attempts now or not. I guess, okay, it really depends on how much I care about this run in particular. I think that just like the story percent run, this run has a lot of room for improvement, you know. I could try to look through every single room and find the best way to move through it and like hyper optimize it, just like with story percent. But also this is only a pilgrimage percent category, right? It's not really as important as the story percent runs, which are kind of like the main runs for each character, right? And plus, like, this is a new route, so just doing a run with the new route would be probably enough to make a big difference. Can I? Hold up. If I know what you're talking about, I think I could try doing that. Don't mind this. climbing up a wall. There's not actually many walls here. They have stuff on them. Like this. It's very difficult. If you can't actually, like, you can spam too fast. I think there's like a specific speed thing you can do it. You can also do something with fruits. That is actually very easy. I think I want to try a real attempt. I mean, it's probably going to be really sloppy, and there's going to be some areas where I'm not as confident with the movement, like in shaded. But I think I can actually at least like give it a good attempt just to have a run, like a baseline to work off of. We get to do this again. This is exciting. Nails were really annoying in the practice attempts, so I will probably take a little bit more time trying to avoid them. Oops. Grab these fruit. Now this run also has another really bizarre problem. When you starve and you get an echo, it resets you back to the last shelter you stayed at, right? Before the starve. But it actually also resets the timer back to what the time was when you first sheltered before the starve. So there's actually twice in the run where the timer is reset. So I actually need to account for that in the final time. So of course I'm not gonna just like let the game remove like 10 minutes from the timer. It would really suck if Artificer's run started with karma caching. Like, it doesn't even really make sense to consider that because of the way that their karma works. But if for whatever reason you had to karma cache, it would make the run like 10 times worse. Because like just getting the vulture mask in the beginning is like hard enough, but having to wait like 2 minutes between each attempt at just getting a vulture mask, that would make it a lot worse. Like, it's pretty lucky that the start of Artificer's run is pretty fast. I guess if you want to, you don't need to get the vulture mask, and you can really start runs very quickly. But then, you know, good luck getting past all the blizzards. Okay, let's get going. There's also the risk here of dying to scavengers, so that's a fun thing to think about. Maybe this and Artie aren't so different. Oh, brutal. Excuse me. It's sometimes actually worse when they uh-oh. There's a problem here. I only have one fruit. I don't know where the others went. Oh, they're doing this formation again. Ah. I don't have any food. I can just like eat a centipede or something to make it up. Speaking of niche task-only strategies, there's Wiggle Flight. And if you ever see me doing that in a gate, that's what I'm trying to do. It's absurdly difficult, and I don't think it's ever going to be practical to try to use Wiggle Flight in an actual run. But I've been practicing it. And by practice, I mean literally just doing it when I'm waiting in gates and stuff. Oh, come on. But actually, the way that I found to get it most consistently is by creating a little program that plays a sound effect. And it plays the sound effect whenever you should do an input for the Wiggle Flight. Because the way that you do it is you press in one direction for 7 frames, then another direction for 4 frames, and then alternate every 3 frames. So the pattern is 7, 4, 3 repeating. Please, come on. This eel keeps getting closer. Can you please move? Okay, I can't actually. They're in the way. This would have been way faster to just do from the beginning. Well, not if I got the point. Oh, come on. Really? I can't go up from there. So basically, I made that program that plays the sound whenever you should do an input to the Wiggle Flight, just to know what the rhythm is like. And now I just need to basically alternate left and right key presses in time with that rhythm, you know? Just like knowing what it sounds like makes it a lot easier. A lot easier as in like maybe slightly possible to do sometimes if you're lucky. Because still pressing the inputs like frame perfectly is still very difficult. At least like knowing the rough timing for the inputs makes a big difference. And there have been a few times where I've been able to Wiggle Fly for more than like half a second, so you know, that's something. Also, it's actually really convenient that it rains here, but that's only because I was slow in the beginning doing those blanks. Otherwise, it would not be raining and I would have to deal with those lizards. And maybe I should play different music for these runs, because this is the song that you're going to be hearing for most of the time. Plays in the gutter. So I'll try it some more here. See? Sometimes I can do it a little bit. I mean, I still think things like crawl turn vaults are like almost impractical for actual runs, even though some people actually can do them consistently. I never understand that. Don't. Gosh. See, the scavenger threat is not over. A little bit there. See? I can do it a little bit sometimes. But Equinage always gives less heights than if you were to just like do a backflip. Unless you do it for like a significant amount of time. What's a spitter spider? Actually, nice to see that though, because I know that there's probably not a spitter spider down here. Instead, there's gonna be a mole lizard. I threw a rock or a speeder at them and... okay. You can see this room very slightly sometimes. It's so dark. Whoops, you can't jump too high there. Okay, so don't actually do an AI hop there. Also, I ran into a spider, but you can see that. Must have been frustrating. I feel like I kind of had a weird connection to that run. I can't really say that I enjoyed it a lot, but I also can't really say that it was frustrating. I don't know. So after finishing the run, I was kind of sitting there for a while. Actually, the day after I finished the run, I was like, I'm not doing this run anymore. You know? Like something that I've been working on for such a long time, and then suddenly it's over. I guess that was the point, right? To eventually finish a run. So about the Artificer run. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect run. Of course, there's no such thing as a perfect run. Except in like a very small handful of games. But there's like a few major time losses near the end. Specifically mostly in like the second half of Metropolis is where the main problems are. So there's a point in the run where 2 King Vultures show up and harass me for like 10 seconds. And so had those King Vultures not shown up, that's like free 10-second time save, you know? Right in the room before the scavenger toll, a scavenger shows up when I don't expect them to, and I have a fight with them for like 5 seconds, and I didn't get to prepare both grenades. Luckily, in the scavenger toll, actually picked up another grenade. I think that might have saved the run, although I'm not sure of that. I don't know how useful that grenade actually was. If you actually go back and watch how I did in the scavenger toll, I think I actually did like everything perfectly. Like I threw the grenades in the right spots. I like feared every scavenger that was still alive after throwing the grenades. It was like almost perfect. The problem, I think that slightly made up for how slow it was to actually like get that set up. And then the Scav King fight at the end was a little bit messy. Like, I definitely could have done that a lot better. That's an unnecessary time loss. Don't do that. Don't, please don't. Do you want to rock? Why do you have to do this to me? I'm just chilling. Just eating some snacks. That was a lot slower than it should have been. It's how you missed it. I did the run off stream, so everyone missed it. That is actually really what I prefer. I kind of hate having my voice in the background of speedrun videos, because you're there to see the speedrun, not to hear me rant about some other completely unrelated topic, you know. It probably makes the stream more interesting if I'm talking about something instead of just gameplay, you know. But when it comes to the speedrun video, I prefer it to be the opposite. So whenever I finish a run on stream, I'm like, damn, I'm like talking about something completely random. If there was a way to maybe record gameplay audio completely separately, such that I could just remove my voice or like, I don't know, anything else from the video. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. There is no music though. You may have noticed that. It's has no music at all. Partially because I was listening to my own music, but that was not Rain World, so I didn't want to include it in the video. I feel like having like Rain World music, like it works. It's like fitting, but it's I don't want to deal with like other like copyright problems potentially if I just play some random music. And that there's like I had already listened to the Rain World OST like 1,000 times. I don't think it makes that much of a difference because even if I did have like in-game music on, it's like pretty repetitive in that run. It's just like the Stonehead song plays like for so long. Yeah, after I finished the Artificer run, I was like, damn, that could have been better. Maybe I should do another attempt. I feel like by the time I finished the run, I had done so many Artificer runs that it became a lot easier, right? I mean, obviously, like I had more practice with it. But I feel like, you know, at that point, I had done so many runs, I was like, I'm currently the most practiced I will ever be at Artificer, you know? And if I wait to do another run, I'm just going to get worse at the category, right? Because I haven't played in a while. So technically, now is the best time to do another attempt to improve that run, right? And I don't actually really feel like I have a problem with that. If I wanted to do more runs, like it became really normal. Like, oh yeah, doing more Artificer runs. Yeah, I do that every day. And it would be nice to save like a good like 20 seconds off of that time. But like so many other things go perfectly in that run. And you can tell, you know, if you watch the run, you see where the time losses are, right? It's not like the time losses are because, well, there are a handful of movement mistakes. For the most part, I'm happy with the movement in that run. It's mostly issues with other creatures that I slowed it down near the end. There's also a part in the wall where a droplet just gets in the way for like 5 seconds. Very minor time loss, but you know, just like losing 5 seconds just like that. A little bit annoying. But I'm happy that the run is just like finished at least. You know. Really? I don't have an alternate strat for this room. As Riv. Please just stay out of the way. Okay, that was really... There were a lot of mistakes on my part. I got lucky. Okay, I'll be honest, I'm not really paying attention to the game at all. This is actually like maybe a decent run, so I'll probably focus on this more now. You know, actually, I guess the main part about the Artificer run is that it's like a 4-minute time save over a world record. I actually had a run that was technically a world record. Like, a 23-minute time. And, you know, so technically that was like a small improvement over a world record if I uploaded that run. But I knew that the run had potential, right? Like that you could just change the strategies up a little bit and play a little riskier, and you could save a big chunk off the time. So I just want that run to exist, you know. But also, I feel sorry for anyone who also wants to run Artificer, knowing that they'll have to do the same thing that I did. I don't know how to feel about that. Just kind of in general, when it comes to like speedrunning. Like, let's say in a category, let's say this has nothing to do with Rainbow, right? There's some game that people speedrun, and there's one person who's like by far the best player in that game, right? So when it comes to speedruns, you know, this one person has all the world records, and it's like impossible to approach that time. I don't know if that's like a good or a bad thing for a community, you know? Because if you want to speedrun the game, you know that you probably have no chance of beating this person's time because they're just like so much better than you, right? Does that motivate you, or does that unmotivate you? There's a better word for that. But it's because there's like two scenarios, right? One where it's like, this player is so much better than me, I have no chance of beating their time, I'm not even gonna bother, you know? Or it's, wow, this person's run is so good and impressive, I want to try it myself, you know? Like this is like a great reference for like all the strategies that you can use to get a world record run. You know, I can use this to improve my own times, and maybe it'll be really difficult to beat their time. If I'm not able to beat their time, then it's still gonna be fun to try to just improve my like personal best, or to see if it's maybe just possible to at least approach the record and maybe even get it myself. Like some people might actually really enjoy that kind of challenge. Ooh, a little bit of lag here. I'm curious how it is for the Rainworld community. Now, I'm not saying that I'm like by far the best player, or that the records that I get are like unbeatable. But I have definitely noticed that some, I mean, okay, it's impossible not to notice. I have some world records. I don't know if those world records are like good or bad for the speedrunning community as a whole. What are you doing? Friends? I think I've seen some people see my rank or my Rivulet world record and it made them want to try the category themselves. Are we good? I think we're good, right? Yeah, I'm not actually dead. It's the bad dream. I personally think it's like good encouragement. When I was watching the couple percent world record like a year ago, I guess it really has been a year. But I originally started with couple percent, of course, because that was like the one category in the game that I thought was interesting. Before downpour, of course. And I was like, this is sick, you know? Like, look at this move attack they're doing. I want to try that, you know? And I did couple percent run, and it got like 10th place. And then a few months later, I did another couple percent run, and I got like 3rd place, right? Which is with a slight advantage because with the new update, even without downpour, there's still a few things that you have that weren't in the original version of the game. Slight advantage, I got 3rd place. I'm kind of thinking now, could I get 1st place? Is there a chance I could beat that run? I think there's just a new world record since then, but like I watched the current world record and I noticed some mistakes. Oh, mistakes, that's a potential time save. Of course, if I tried the run, I would also make mistakes, but maybe I could get to the point where I could get that world record. I think that the Pebble percent world record is one of the next things I want to speedrun. I kind of have a list right now, like a bunch of categories that I want to try out. Either categories that I've done runs on, but that I want to improve, like Gourmand, or I guess this one kind of counts. Runs that don't have many runs at all and that like have a lot of potential, or runs that I haven't done at all, but just that I want to try out just so I have a run of that category, you know. Casual speedrun. I mean, okay, I think the best way to explain it is if you enjoy a game a lot and you're like, let's just see how fast I can beat it, you know. Like, now that you have game knowledge and experience, you can kind of figure out what are like the few things that you need to do to beat the game. It's a fun thing to challenge yourself with. Some games have achievements that are based on speedrunning, so like beat the game in an hour or under 2 hours, you know. So maybe if you just want to go for those achievements, I guess that'd be considered casual speedrunning. And then the moment you try to like start improving your run, trying to like climb the leaderboards, you know, get better times, learn strategies and stuff, that's like when it stops being casual. Don't get speedrunning in general. That's fair. Monotony. That happens sometimes. That was definitely true for the Artificer run. Sometimes you kind of get stuck in a scenario where you just like are stuck in garbage waste and you can't get a run started, you know? You just have to keep restarting and restarting and restarting. That can be really frustrating. I think that like the eventual like goal, like maybe eventually achieving a good run, is enough motivation to get through that. Because you know that it's a difficult run and you need to put in a lot of attempts to have a chance at finishing it. But like what you get as a result of putting in that many attempts is a really sick run, you know. You stop getting stuck on the train. Okay, I have to wait for this guy. I also understand that a lot of people probably don't have the time to spend on speedruns, on both the practice and just the time you need to spend on attempts. If you don't want to go through that or the stress of like being on good pace and like try not to mess up at the end of a run, or else you would lose a good run, you know. Totally understandable. I just like challenging things. And it helps that the actual speedrun itself is like fun. Like maybe restarting a lot and like dying and losing runs, you know. That part can be frustrating, of course. But when you actually get like a good run going and you just get to move. Like Rain World, at least for Rain World. I actually don't really speedrun any other game. But Rain World at least has like some of the best movement out of any game that I've played. So, you know, if I'm gonna speedrun something, it's gonna be Rain World, because just movement's fun, you know. It's like a roguelike, you know. Roguelikes can technically be repetitive. Every death means that you have to restart. And they do have the benefit of being randomly generated, so there's gonna be new stuff happening, you know. But that's kind of how Rain World is too, you know. You never know where the creatures are gonna be. That's kind of the only random elements, though. Have I played Celeste? I have played Celeste. I've speedrun that game before. One of the few other games I've done speedruns of, but not very well. They weren't very good. Celeste has a crazy high skill ceiling, so there's no chance of like going for like a really good like competitive run. Celeste, I think, is like the perfect casual speedrunning game. Like the game is actually kind of designed for you to go back and try to go for speedruns. I don't know why I did backflip. Never do that. Bad roguelikes. If that's the way you determine if a roguelike is good or bad, if it's too repetitive, I guess that's a fair judgment. Like that's kind of the whole point of a roguelike, to be like extremely varied. Which genre is Rain World? I have no idea. I kind of like that though. If you can't define a game by a genre, you know that it's like unique enough to not like conform to like some sort of standard. Like, oh, your game is this genre, it needs to have this and this. It's like an RPG, it needs like stats and like an HP, mana and defense, and you know, you can level up your weapons. And like every like AAA game nowadays has like a skill tree. Like, what's up with that? I actually don't know if that's true or not. I've just seen a lot of games with skill trees. I don't actually play them though. Souls-like? Is Rain World a Souls-like? I feel like there's like no way, right? It's Rain World is a role-playing game in the sense that you role-play as a rat, you know? And in like an actual literal sense. Yeah, I disagree with it being a Souls-like. Souls-like feels more like defined by the combat, I think. Okay, that's the run finished, but see, this is like This is so much easier than Artificer. Like I already finished a run just like that. This might be a PB. I don't really know. I don't think there were any deaths, so it probably is. Was that world record also maybe? I do want to do another run, so there's a baseline, I guess. Let's see if I can beat that 22:52. Yeah, I think any run that I finish with this route is gonna be better than the world record, just because it's a completely different route. Because that run didn't get the shaded echo. It got the farmer, or not the farmer's echo. It got the subterranean echo, and it never used passages. I think that's actually a big difference, you know. Because that one, the strategy was kind of to go around the world in a big loop. So go up to the wall, chimney, Skylands echo, get all those. Go to subterranean to get that echo, and then go down subterranean to get to filtration system, right? But this route uses a passage to get all the way down to drainage system. So that's a pretty big time save. Just like more efficient echoes and using that passage. And funny thing, the previous run that I just did, I was like more focused on talking about other stuff than actually focusing on the run. So of course it can be improved. Now I don't know how Rainworld was developed. Like I have a little bit of an idea, but like I can't know what the developers were thinking. But I like to imagine that they had some sort of vision for a game that they would like to create, and they did everything that they could to stick to that vision. You know, whereas some other games, I don't know how general I can be about this, but let's say there's another game developer and they are like, okay, I want to make a first-person shooter game or a roguelike game or a, you know, some sort of genre game. And then at that point, you've already like constrained yourself to a set of, to like what your game kind of looks like, you know. At which point you can look at other games for references. You can generally have an idea of what that genre looks like, and so you make a game around those ideas, and then you basically add like a few extra gimmicks, like a few changes to the formula, or a new story, or new characters, you know, stuff like that. But Rainworld was like, we're just gonna make this, and I don't know if like what do you like reference in Rainworld? What was Rainworld inspired by, you know? Maybe there's an actual answer to that from like interviews or something. Thank you, Scavenger. If you wanted to make Rainworld, what's your like reference, you know? Ah, okay, thank you. Probably another big part of why Rainworld is not very new player friendly. Because if you are familiar with the genre, you know what to expect, right? Even if it's a completely new game to you, there's still some mechanics that are going to carry over from other games. It's like every first-person shooter has like very similar mechanics of like walking around, looking around, using the gun, like reloading, stuff like that. It's like all very similar between all the games. And the games can still be very different, of course, but you have a rough idea of like how they play, roughly, you know. I guess okay, Rainworld is a 2D platformer, right? But even with that, it's like physics based in a weird way. Yeah, I think that's like a big part of it. The idea that like Rand World is just about creating an ecosystem. Like let's just see what this looks like, you know. Let's put some creatures in, some, you know, some like some are food, some are some are prey, some are predators. You know, there's some like extra food around like fruit and stuff. And then just put the player in. Good luck, you know. And of course, in some ways, Rand World is a bad game. You can probably come up with some like very basic like game design ideas that Rand World just completely throws out the window. Usually when I think about game design, a big part of it is making the player overpowered, giving the player advantages that the rest of the world doesn't have. So in a bullet hell, a very simple example is the player hitbox is usually very small. Same with the enemy bullets. So it's actually kind of difficult to get hit because the bullets actually have a small hitbox. You have a small hitbox. Of course, there's still going to be a lot of bullets, and it's still like not hard to get hit. But the enemies have a huge hitbox, and your bullets probably have a huge hitbox too. Your bullets are probably going to move faster. Maybe they're homing too. It's way easier for you to hit the enemies than it is for the enemies to hit you. Plus, the enemies aren't a predetermined path that they move on usually, and you have like complete control over your position. That's like a pretty standard thing in bullet hells, right? Usually the player has a quite common thing in games is to have some amount of regen, you know. So you have like health potions, health whatever's to restore. Your life might just regenerate naturally, whereas enemies sometimes they usually don't. What am I saying? And so like sometimes you can just like you can fight by letting yourself slowly regen over time while taking like small shots at the enemy, and eventually you'll win, right? There's like all sorts of different things you can do to give the players little advantages that usually just make the game more fun to play, you know? That's kind of the point of all of that. Like on the surface it seems like it's balanced, like you against them, like it's a totally fair fight, but you have all the advantages in the world. Another thing, in 3D games it's usually hard to see everything at once just because of the camera, you know, you can't see what's behind you, of course. So usually if there's a lot of enemies from different sides, you want the... It feels unfair when an enemy from behind you that you can't even see deals damage to you because you can't react to it at all. So usually, I said that, huh? So usually. But you can make the enemies that you can't see not shoot as often. So just by not seeing an enemy, it won't attack you, just because it feels unfair to take damage that you can't react to. Rand World doesn't do any of that at all. Actually, it does do that. Like, your control over the Slugette is way better. That's just kind of how the game has to work. If the Slugette controlled like the way lizards do in Safari mode, the game would just feel awful to play. So the movement system is a pretty big advantage that the player has. But some enemies can move better than you, right? Dropwigs are very agile. Sign lizards are very agile. Vultures can be fast if they feel like it. Senate, like some creatures can crawl on walls, you know. There's other ways that the enemies have advantages over you. Goodbye, Centipede. Oh, I think that I'm of them pinned to the wall there. Although I would have been teleported too. I don't know what happened there. Please. And Downpour kind of breaks that a little bit also by giving the characters overpowered abilities, like Rivulet is even faster than normal. Yeah, even though the player has a lot of movement options, it's like still hard to learn. In some ways you're actually less agile than other creatures when you're starting out. Yeah, scavengers are kind of created as like the equal to the player, right? They can climb up poles, they can like do a lot of stuff that's like a cannon, they can even throw stuff. But even better, you know, there's more scavengers than one Slugcat. They can hold multiple spears, they have explosive spears sometimes. They can throw at more than one angle. although only slightly. They can see it from off screen. So in a lot of ways that the game gives you an advantage, it also gives the other creatures an advantage too. I think a game like Vampire Survivors is like the polar opposite of Rain World. Like, you have a huge advantage over the enemies there, who are barely even enemies. Like, they're basically just a walking hitbox. And of course, the whole game is about making yourself overpowered, and just like defeating its waves and waves of enemies. And you can say that those are exactly the things that make the game fun, right? Like, that's kind of just how Vampire Survivors is, you know, you just become more powerful, you defeat enemies, that's it, and it's fun, you know. Well, I mean, some people probably don't find it fun. But it's certainly, like, become very popular because of that. And Rain World is, like, so far away from that idea. You know, I don't even remember why we're talking about this. Yeah, I think the crouching state is a big one. I see a lot of new players crouch and not know that they're crouching. They just kind of like hop along the ground. That kind of movement is definitely very awkward, but like the moment you know that you can just press up and stop crouching, you know, that no longer is a problem. I guess that transition from not knowing anything about the game, like not being familiar with the controls, transitioning from that into being a skilled player, you know, improving your like game awareness, your ability to move around. That's like part of what makes this game amazing. Going from not knowing anything to kind of being an expert on the world. Which is also exactly what an actual like would have to do in order to survive. It had to learn how to like adapt to the environment. That seems to be what they are very good at. Saying that they are nomadic. Please don't. Ah. For some other games that can try to like make you feel like you're very powerful from the start by giving all these advantages to you over the enemies, by giving you a lot of like tools and weapons and such. You know, you don't really need to work for the power fantasy, whereas for Rain World you absolutely do have to work for it, and that actually ends up making it feel more fulfilling in the end. It's not just something that the game gives to you for free. This room has been a problem because of a large quantity of centipedes and snails. Maybe we should take the top of that room. This guy's back. Technically, that was the point. The game lagged so much, there were like 3 frames total of that point. Oh, come on. Really? I was right there. I really want to actually get that at least within a few tries. Why did I still forget to grab these fruit? Oh man, it's gonna be real fun to be on Gourmand again. Gourmand 4% strats seem kind of fun. There's a lot of unique strats. It's a very interesting run. But it's hard to say that interesting means that it's fun. I don't know. Maybe if I do more Gourmand attempts, I'll realize that it's not nearly as bad as Artificer. Because I have in fact completed a few Gourmand runs. I've only completed like one Artificer run within the past like month. Actually within the past like 3 months or something. I think that that's actually why I don't like the combat characters as much as the movement characters. The idea that a Slugette shouldn't be at the top of the food chain. Because Artificer, Spearmaster, Hunter, they kind of try to be. You can be, you know, in score runs it absolutely looks like you're an Apex player because you like literally kill an entire region for points. You can take out like vultures, like large lizards, basically just everything. Especially with the vulture mask, although that's kind of cheating a little bit. I'm not saying that it's cheating in a score run, but like cheating in terms of it's like a position at the food chain because you're artificially making yourself threatening by mimicking an actual threat that is vultures. But for creatures like Riv, you're not actually that strong. You're just fast, you know. So it's more about like running around and like escaping from things. I think I like that more than confronting things directly. And especially more so as Saint. You are very weak, but very fast. Okay, can I do the planks again? Please. And the wall pounces. Ah. Okay, so there's like several centipedes large enough to kill you in this room. That's fun. I'll take that. What if I didn't take that and I dropped that back down to do another attempt? Of course you're gonna take that. That was totally my mistake. There we go. I'll take that. Oh, okay, there are garbage worms here. I was wondering why this room felt empty. What a competent predator. That looks fun. You're preoccupied? Okay, well, I don't know if that's better or worse than the other run. Yeah, Carmelistas are very interesting. They do that sometimes. I think once they start, they're like charging up for a jump, they can't change direction. Or they jump towards the direction they're facing, so if they turn around accidentally, that's the way they go. But it's nice that they aren't perfect. Yeah, green lizards do that too sometimes. They'll turn around and then slide. I thought I was Artificer again. I keep doing that. And don't you hate when you think you're Artificer and you actually aren't? Oh man, chaos. Will there be... I guess there won't be. Maybe I should have set up splits for this. The waves were supposed to be something different. This music is still playing. I hope you're not tired of it. You know, I did most of my Rivulet store percent runs off stream actually for quite a long time. So this might be the first time this song is playing up. Well, no, it's not playing anymore. So I said it ends in time for shaded music to play. That's nice. grab them instead. Still have yet to see the spitter spider. Get real close to my screen for this. Oops. Okay, who knows where they are? Totally fine with not seeing the spitter spider though. Probably so much better movement that you could do here. By the way, this pipe in this room is like one of the worst placed pipes in the whole game. Because it's like right next to this like tunnel that you have to climb down. It's like really awkward to actually do that because there's also a pole right in the same place too. So there's a pole, a tunnel, and a pipe all next to each other. Master Quest mod for Ragnarok? You could be talking about like 20 different games. But if you're talking about Ragnarok, then I have not. I'm playing Gourmand. I say that every single time, don't I? Whenever I'm starving, it's just like Gourmand. Oh, that's so the room randomizer, basically. You could probably do that with room randomizer, right? Just changing region gates around, or making them go to random locations. Actually, I don't know if room randomizer can do that. But basically, how I imagine that works is each region stays the same, but the gates go to different places. So it kind of basically just reshuffles around the whole world map. That could be interesting. So you have to like figure out where Pebbles is and where the depths is, you know, stuff like that. This is a big time save. Remember the last time I was here, I like was messing around a lot. That was very smooth. So it's like a more controlled room randomizer. That could be interesting. Because room randomizer was a little bit chaotic. A little bit messy. That's kind of the point though. I can't say I wasn't expecting it. Thank you, Vulture. Man, these rooms are so much more chill when you know you're not going to get assaulted by a King Vulture every 5 seconds. Or scavengers. Or maybe that can still happen. I don't know if there's king vultures as for Riv. Here's 2 normal vultures. Oh, come on. I hate that. And then it activates like instantaneously when you enter. Like, look at that. You were like only a few frames away from activating that echo. Alright, see ya. Thanks for stopping by. I've been kind of trying to be consistent at entering pipes quickly. Whoops. Backup storage. Thank you, game. Because you can only... Well, it's weird. It's very strange. But there's a way you can enter a pipe, like, head first. Where you're, like, trying to line yourself up as you fall into it. Tried to grab me, like, around the corner. Okay, that's an unsuccessful hole hop. Oh, great. Instead of scavengers, it's lizards. I like that position, though. We know who the winner is, obviously. You know, this doing this area as Rivulet probably doesn't help with forgetting to bring a spear up here as Survivor. Because Rivulet and Artificer, they don't need spears. Actually, I'm not even going that way. I forgot about that. I need to see the echo. But if I was going to Pebbles, I would need a spear. But then when I do get around to doing runs as Survivor, I'd always forget to bring a spear up there. So I actually do need it. Well, you don't actually need it. You can do a crawl turn wall, I think. There might be some weird thing you can do with wall pounces too. But that doesn't really count. Also wiggle foot. You can do a lot of things. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with this run so far. If I make it to the end, I might just like be done with this category. I think I can say that I do recommend this category. For anyone who wants to speedrun Rivulet, but they don't want to do 30% for whatever reason. I would say this is the easier and more approachable category to get into speedrunning Rivulet. There is like the beginning of the run in the gutter. I have a very bizarre route through that area that involves wall pouncing and blinks, so that might be a bit awkward, especially since there's a kind of a time limit. I'm sure there's other ways to do that that aren't as difficult. And if you ever practice Plink for story percent, then it's actually much more valuable to use it in this run. Why do they do that like consistently? Like I've seen that twice already. An orange lizard fall down this room. Oh wow, the lag. It's really bad here for some reason. Hello, Cicada. How's it going? I want to wall pounce up this room, but I can't. I can't do it, man. That might be worth doing. That one wall pounce at the end there. You need to like line it up specifically. Also, this orange lizard has consistently invaded me in this shelter. I don't know why. They like coming in here. Although if the shelter starts closing and you die to it, you just like start the next cycle like normal. You don't actually die. As long as the shelter is already closing. There's that orange lizard. You can see why. I think that orange lizard actually replaces a egg bug spawn. Ow. Actually, ow. That was kind of close to dying. Star movement is always about how much you can get away with. How many jumps can you do? How many slides can you do? If you do like one jump too many, you pass out and like spend quite a long time recovering. It's just like Gourmand. And the most fun part of the run. This is actually one of the very few times I've actually used passages in speedruns. In speedruns, you are only allowed to passage to shelters you've been to before. So in this case, you are allowed to do it because this is literally the shelter we take at the start of the run. But most of the time, it's not worth doing because you're always moving forward in some direction. And it takes time to get passages. It's only really worth it if you need to backtrack significantly, which is applicable in this run because of the route that I chose. But I also had a completely different route that didn't even use passages at all. I was still pretty fast, so sometimes it doesn't even feel like passages are worth using, even if you can find a way to use them. Or maybe you just can't think of a way to use them using one particular route, so you need to like kind of work around the passage, you know? And something like Pebble Percent, you do backtrack, but it's taken care of by some cheese. You go up to Pebbles, and then you go down to the depths. So you think that you need to use the passage to get down to the depths quickly. But you can just go to Pebbles and exit out of the game, and you'll just, like, warp back to Outskirts. And still save the progress of, meeting Pebbles and having your karma increased. I don't know if there's any other runs that could really make use of, passages. Runs like Spearmaster and Rivulet can't use passages because you have to carry an item that doesn't get brought along with you when you passage. But this run, it all kind of works out. So they can still... things can still happen at this point. This is like the last dangerous area. I always take fall damage there. I don't think there's any molds here. They're on this room. Good. Bonking his head. Ah, I haven't done that yet today. There we go. Kind of made up for it. I didn't get the hard fall, but I got a wall pound. That's great. Okay, so don't do anything stupid here, and this is a good run. Does he even sub 20? No, surely it doesn't take just a minute to get through the depths. I feel like if I did a pounce there, or yeah, pounce, I would have hit the wall. Ah, that's what this is. There we go. They're risky to go for. But like, look at that. People complain about wall pounces because of they could do them accidentally. But it is also a skill to avoid doing them accidentally, if you can get used to not doing it. I think it's worth the trade-off of occasionally messing it up, because you'll eventually get better at avoiding them. You just need to like not spam jump when you're in terrain like this. Yeah, not a sub 20. Hold up, I'm getting another world record real quick. There we go. Actually, I didn't think of something. The timer I have to adjust later. I actually don't know how good this run is now. I'm gonna do the math right now, and if it's a good run, then I'll just end it, because I don't think I'll be improving that too much. Not without like practicing movement for specific rooms. So, gotta do some math. You guys excited? Oh, do I count for the karma caching? Because that's also a timer. I'm not gonna count it because we usually don't. So the timer, it's gonna be very boring for a while. Huh. This is interesting. This might be very interesting. We'll see. How do I calculate this? Because timer saves something when I first shelter. It's 520 something. 526. But then when I wake up from the same shelter, the timer has gone forward to 613. Well, around that. Yeah, 613. But before the last echo, the timer was 1120. I guess it should just still be 1120. So that's what the timer should be, so just add the difference. So like, okay, this is actually potentially bad. Potentially bad. Cause doesn't happen again. So it's Sky Islands. Huh. Let's check in-game time too. So oh, that's annoying. That might have been slower. Just based on math, that might be wrong, but I don't think it is. This might actually just be a slower run. And the time that it takes away from visiting echoes, as you add that time back, this is just slower than the previous runs with the old route. Which is interesting because I thought I figured out this route would have been faster from the beginning. That's what I did all the testing for in the past. Huh. Well, now I don't know. Is it just this route in particular that's slower? Or is it... Um... now I still don't know if the old route was like the best possible route for this run, you know? If I do that again, is it like... I think I can need a better time for that run just for practice. But is there another different route that is actually better compared to this one? Hmm. I think that because when you get to the shaded echo, that that takes quite a while. It takes like the whole cycle to get the shaded echo. Plus, for both the shaded and Skylands echo, you need to take time to starve and like revisit the echo. You know, so that might take a while. Let's do another run. Damn. I'm not even gonna explain this route. I'm just gonna do it and just see if it works out. Hopefully not make any major mistakes. Also, if you're still here, um the Artificer run was off stream. I'm still thinking about this category. So I feel like most of the testing that I did ended up finding slower routes. I thought it was the shaded one that would have been the best. But now say that I finished this run and it is faster than the previous run. I can't be confident that this is the fastest way to do the run. Do I have to go back and look for more alternate routes again? Or maybe this is the best way to do it. And I was just like right from the beginning. Or I did my math wrong and that run was actually faster. That'd be fine. Let's just do this. At least one attempt at this. I have enough time. Oh, it's still been a little while. Okay. No fruit for me. You have to be right there. You have to be here now. You're just gonna stay stuck there? It's annoying. Totally forgot this strat for this room. Ah, man, I wanted to do that first try. That was a stupid mistake. Have you enjoyed that? Oh, hello. Welcome to the stream. It's a little bit quiet right now. Funny thing is that by the time this song ends, we're gonna get to the gutter again and it's gonna play again. Oh, Scavenger is my favorite. Ah, I forget to Karma Cache. I guess it kind of makes sense that the old route is faster. Because the subterranean echo is just free. You know, it's right next to... it's right next to a shelter. So you basically lose, like, no time at all by getting it. Whereas for the other strategy I came up with, there was a big time loss. Just like starving and like going out of your way to get the echoes. Whereas for the old route, just getting the subterranean one is like a free echo. So if you want a summary on how the stream has gone, I basically spent like 2 hours doing runs on a route that I came up with, and it ended up being like 4 minutes slower than my previous run that I did like 7 months ago. So we're not doing that anymore. Oops. Surely there won't be any more scavengers. Better be nice. Well, he didn't look very nice, but I think they just didn't get the opportunity to attack me. Not that they didn't want to. I have no idea what I just wall jumped against, but it worked. Well, it didn't really work, but you know. No eel lizard in the way. I appreciate that. Ah. So no sand lizards, please. On the few times I actually hit the spider with the spear. Usually I miss. I haven't seen the signs yet, which means they're probably going to get in the way later. Hello, welcome to the stream. Welcome to not Artificer. Here's the scion. Okay, don't that guy almost ended the run just like last time. Okay, that was stupid. I knew that he was gonna get in the way. Ah. Alright, this is gonna be the last attempt. Fishing does not have a category set. Of course it doesn't. Because, I changed that recently. Guess it's been a little while since I've ran rivs, so I'm not gonna be as good at the normal route. I have no idea how to move fast in water. I just spam jump and hold in some direction. Well, I don't really spam jump. I have a sort of timing to it, but I don't know if that's actually a good way to do it. Up and down gives you a good speed boost. I think that's how it works for like Survivor. But Rivulet's like swim boosts are kind of weird. So I don't like to mess with it too much. I do it in the end of the Riv story percent run, where you want to like get through an area without using too many swim boosts. That's a good way to speed up. I don't know about using it while you're doing swim boosts though. Much more effective for swimming down. no scavengers? Surely they're in the next room after this. No? Give me a day off. I think I have turn storage. I do. I did. I'll tell you in the Void Sea. Because Void Sea optimization is very important. Right. I don't know how anyone speedrun this game when you still have to make it to the end of the Void Sea to finish a run. Like, that kind of sounds awful. Especially since it had a little bit of RNG involved. Well, maybe not a little bit. I'm not really sure how much it really affected the time. Man, I can't do that again. Ooh, the back spot this in. Look how bad they are at catching you. I actually did the same thing again. I've died in this room 3 times, really? That's like not a difficult jump either. I got really consistent at this one. But not today. Already pilgrimage percent. I do want to do that run. Okay, well. I feel like this is now just a category I'm gonna do off stream. Like I really thought I could mix it up with a new route, but I guess I already had a good one from the start. So I can just get a time save from just being better at the game now since 7 months ago. I mean, I guess I could still do another attempt. I remember I could still have a little bit of extra time. Running in 100%. I'm not going that far, okay? I'm thinking of Arty Pilgrimage not because I've been doing Arty a bunch, but just because there's no other runs of it. On Speedrun.com, there's really no runs of Arty Pilgrimage, so I think, you know, might as well do a run. And I don't need to like try hard it too much because there's not as much competition. I'm not gonna like super optimize that run when I do get around to it. But that might actually take a while. There's a bunch of other categories I want to prioritize. Ooh, actually, already Pilgrimage has a lot of routing complexities because you can technically make it into the Void Sea with only 5 karma, right? Or maybe less if you get an elite scavenger. I don't know. Because the amount of your total karma is different by the karma you have, plus the amount of karma the scavenger has. So if the total adds up to 10 karma, so max level, then you can make it past the Guardians, right? But since the karma level of scavengers varies, you know, you don't need to go to like as high karma as you could possibly get. So you might only need like 4 echoes and then get lucky with a really high karma scavenger, right? Maybe you can do that. I don't know. And I think that also elite scavengers have higher karma than normal scavengers, or at least have a higher maximum. So you could technically not get as many echoes and look for an elite instead. But that's like, the more that you rely on scavengers to have the rest of the karma, the more RNG it is, especially since you pretty much need to find a scavenger in subterranean. So, you know, that route might be very bizarre. Unless, hold up. I don't actually know the requirements of that run. Maybe it's something like, I'm lost from looking at that, but, I think you can get away with getting less echoes. But like getting a max karma scavenger is quite rare. And getting a elite scavenger with more than 5 karma, I feel like I don't even know what the chances are of that, even if there is an elite scavenger down there. And I'd have to like test it out, like if it even works to use an elite. Karma, is there an elite that you can consistently get close to a filtration system? Also, what route do you even take to get the echoes, you know? Granting pilgrimage to get good scavenger at the end sounds like Artist Story 2.0. I can do that too. I hate doing that. I guess I probably should just use more consistent strategy for that if I mess it up often. I don't like this guy. Yeah, at that point it was no longer worth doing that wall pounce. The guy's flying all over the place. Don't understand the wall pass thing. Type for this explanation again. If you... Oh man, I need to concentrate though at the same time. If you are moving fast enough and you are in the crouching state, you could press jump before you hit a wall and you will bounce off of it. So normally you can do this as survivor by doing a charge pounce, which automatically puts you into the crouching state. And you just pounce into a wall and jump, and the pounce makes you move fast enough and you're in a crouching state, so you can wall pounce off of it. For Riv, however, you already move fast enough, just by default, you know. Riv is just that fast. So you can just jump into a wall, press down before you touch the wall, so that you are now in the crouching state midair. And then you can now just jump before you hit the wall, and you'll bounce off of it. Also, welcome to the stream. Okay, second time I've done that today. I think it's like, it single-handedly makes wall pounces worth it as Riv if you can learn how to make use of it. As other characters, wall pounces are like situational. People have been defining like places to use them. I've seen that's kind of a thing recently. But most of them are like quite difficult. Much more difficult compared to Riv. But yeah, just jump, press down. I'm not doing a very good example here. Yeah, this is also the way that you can do it with a pounce. Alright, see ya. Thanks for stopping by, though. I don't have any commands. I guess you don't really need a command for that, though. I sure hope I don't die to, Oh, do I have practice as the Twitch stream name? I guess this isn't really practice anymore. I'm just doing real runs. It was it was practice for the first like 30 minutes. Then I was like, I might as well do real runs. Part of why I like doing practice runs without creatures is because the run is not legitimate. If you do practice runs with creatures, you might accidentally finish a run. It's like, why didn't I just do real attempts from the beginning? Oh, that was risky. Of course it was risky, I knew that. Ow, that hurts. Like, mentally. I sure hope there's no white lizards in here. I guess the nice thing about Artificer is that you can never die to white lizards hiding in these tunnels. Even though you could probably also die to the scavengers here instead. Which is much more likely anyway. So it's not really a good thing, just one bad thing traded out for a worse thing. Okay, I don't think that's worth doing. It works rarely, but it's not consistent. This is a messy run. And this is a fun cycle. You get to go to see the echo. Again, in the same spot. I wanted to hit the vulture with that rock, too. And yes, you can up through there. And pick up the spear afterwards if you want to. It's my favorite movement for Riv right in this room. Sump scare? That's when you're in pipe yard. And this time I get to keep going this way. I guess actually I already went this way, so this isn't any different. See a creature here. Really? That was like perfectly wrong. Man, really? Like that? What even happened there? I was holding up, right? No, I literally perfectly weaved my way around that pole, so I didn't grab it. That's cool. Anyway, I can't keep doing runs. Man, well, since this run isn't actually that interesting anymore, I feel like I'm just gonna want to do it off stream, if I want to at all. The run can still be improved, just not really in an interesting way. Just like the same improvements that have been made to the story percent run and nothing else really. So maybe I'll continue doing this run. I don't know, but I'll probably try another category for a future stream. If you want an idea of what those other categories are, you can look at those right now. For Gourmand, so I might go back to Gourmand. That's gonna be fun. The main categories I'm interested in is Gourmand story percent, regular survivor pebbles percent. I can never say that correctly. But without downpour, so just like the old leaderboard pebbles percent, and then Spirit Master story percent. I actually don't even have a run for that yet. Like, so now I have runs for all the characters except for Spirit Master. So just at least to have one on the leaderboards would be nice. But world record is very good in that category, so I don't know if I'll be able to approach that. But we'll see. Thanks everyone for watching. See ya.